So if that's what you're all wondering, if this video is going to end with, surprise, I'm pregnant. No. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Yes, you read that title correctly. I'm going to be talking about what's on everybody's mind, and it seems to be what everybody wants to know about Tyler and I. I'm going to be talking about why Tyler and I do not have babies. If you're new here, Tyler is my husband. We've been married for 1.5 years. 2 years is approaching quickly, and we do not have babies. And that seems to be what everybody wants to know. So before I get deep into the personal situation between Tyler and I first want to say it's nobody's business why Tyler and I or any of you guys are not having babies. Do not let people pressure you into thinking you need to tell them why you're not having babies. I want to talk about it today because I think there's a lot of people out there who are going through the same thing that I am. It seems as though when you get married, or even before you're married, because I know this happened to us before we were married, people ask you all the time, when are you having babies? Are you having babies? Why don't you have any babies? And so I know there's a lot of people out there who are going through what we are, and it's okay to talk about it. But remember, it's nobody's business. You don't owe anybody an answer. The only people's business that it is between yourself and your spouse or your partner or your significant other, or just yourself. It's nobody else's business. People shouldn't ask. It never used to bother me until now that Tyler and I are going through it personally, that people ask all the time, do you have any kids? When are you having kids?
Are you gonna have any babies?
You never know what somebody's going through, whether that be infertility or a loss, a miscarriage, or even just personal things between a spouse, or just personal things between two partners. You don't know what they're going through and what they're talking about, so you shouldn't ask. And I don't want that to come across as mean or saying that people are intentionally being insensitive, because they're not. I genuinely think people are asking because they care and they do want to know. And babies are exciting. They're cute and they're little, and most people love babies. I don't think that people are asking with ill intentions. However, I think people need to remember that it's not okay to ask because you don't know what is on the other side of that. So please know that if you're getting asked this question, it's okay to not have an answer for people. It's okay to stop people where they are, and it's okay to educate. I am starting to get better at it, but my wonderful husband is very good at it, telling people it's really not your business what the choices of our lives are. It's just such a personal question. Having a child with somebody is such an intimate and important step in somebody's life that why would you step on that? Why would you ask that when you have no idea? It's not such a black and white question. It's not one of those things. And this never was the case. It was never a thing where it was like, oh, well, you're married, so now you have to have babies. Now you have to have kids. It was never that way. So I don't understand why people think that it is now that, oh, you're married? That means you need to reproduce. Like, why are people so interested in what's happening in my personal life? So before I get into it, I just wanted to let you guys know that. I just wanted to talk about that. Why I think it's nobody's business, and you don't need to feel pressured to tell anybody the answer. It's always the first thing that people ask when you're married. We even had people when we had just gotten engaged, and they said, so when are you having babies? I don't know. I don't know. It's not like I'm saying to myself,
well, we're going to conceive on April 14th, 2023, and then the baby's gonna be 2 weeks early and weigh this many pounds.
Like, I don't know the future. I don't know. I can tell you I'm not pregnant right now. So if that's what you're all wondering, if this video is going to end with, surprise, I'm pregnant. No, your girl ain't pregnant. So let's just get that out of the way. Let's talk about why Tyler and I personally do not have babies. We never want to feel like we're going to be bringing somebody into this world that could be resented, we could feel like is a mistake. And a lot of people say you'll never feel like your child is a mistake, which might be true, but that's a really big risk. And that's really not fair to put on a child the opportunity for them to be regretted. And I'm not going to do that. So Tyler and I have decided that we're not going to bring a child into this world unless we are both 100% sure that that's what we want to do. We don't want to bring somebody into this world that's not what we both want. One of the big reasons that we don't have children right now, or even why we're hesitating to have children, is definitely financial reasons. It's expensive to bring a child into this world. And as much as I can plan and say, I want to breastfeed or I want to use cloth diapers, it's still expensive. And you don't know if those things are going to work. Formula is very expensive. Diapers are very expensive. School, daycare are very expensive. If you asked me in high school, I would have told you, absolutely, I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom one day. That is what I want. But now I'm at a point in my career where I really, really love what I do. I really like getting up and going to work every day. So if I did have a child, right now, the feelings that I have right now are that being a stay-at-home mom is not an option. It's not what I want. So we would have to be paying for daycare. And daycare is expensive. Having a baby in general is expensive. So that's definitely been a hesitation of ours as to why we're not having babies, is because it's very expensive and it's not getting any cheaper. Part of that is, I say to people, we're just not ready. And of course you get the age-old question or the statement or opinion, are you ever really ready? I don't know. I don't know if you're ever really ready, but I can certainly tell you when I'm not, and we are not ready. And people should respect that when you say that. It should not be conditional. People should not answer you with, well, are you ever really ready? I know. I've had 14,000 children, and I was not ready. Then why'd you do it? Then why'd you bring a baby into this world? Don't tell me that my reasons are not valid. Don't tell me that me saying I'm not ready is not okay, because it is okay. And if all of y'all out there are also telling people you're not ready and they're trying to tell you that you're never really ready, it's okay. It is okay to not feel ready. That is an absolutely valid reason not to bring a life form into this world. Please know that. Another reason that we're very hesitant or putting a lot of thought into having children is the environment. And some people are going to laugh at me for this because some people don't think it's a big deal, but go outside and realize the world we are living in right now. Our future is not guaranteed. And unless a lot of things turn around, we are not going to have a sustainable world to live in. And it's very scary to me to bring a child into this world that has an uncertain future. I want the best life for my children. I want the best life for their children. So it seems really incredibly unfair to bring them into something that I know is doomed, into a world that does not have a bright future. But on top of that, have thought, people years ago thought we didn't have a future, and here we are. I can't live in constant fear. So sometimes I think to myself, maybe that shouldn't be a factor. Maybe I shouldn't be worried about the environment and bringing a child into this world, because we have to live in the now. And we can't worry about everything that's going to happen. I could die tomorrow. We don't know. So I go back and forth all the time on if it's important or if it's not important. And that's a big reason. That's a big risk. Until I internalize and figure that out, it seems irresponsible for us to bring a child into this world or create a life when I'm still unsure about that. So as much as people think that the environment is not a reason to not have children, please, please, please look at the millions of hundreds of articles that talk about people not having babies because of the environment. It's not a new subject. I'm not the only one who's thinking about it. So, I mean, comment down below if you're worried about that too. If you are contemplating having children with your spouse, or even if you don't have a spouse, if you're worried about to the point where you're going to have children, if the environment is a factor, because I really want to know. I know that I'm not alone in this, certainly, but I want to know other people's opinions. Something else that's always on our mind is some days Tyler and I can be very selfish. And by that I mean it is, I think, a little after 10 on a Saturday, and I nonchalantly woke up about a half an hour ago, took my shower, got ready, and now I'm talking to you. Tyler's still in bed, which is absolutely okay, because in this moment in time we are basically quarantined, so we're not really leaving the house. So there's not much we would be doing anyway. But that would not be an option with a child. Whether that child be a newborn or 6 months old or 2 years old. I would have probably been up at 6 a.m. And that is okay, but that's not a life that we are sure that we're ready to have. We love being able to wake up on a lazy Saturday and do whatever we want. And that may sound selfish, but that's okay. It is okay to want that for yourself, because in the end, it's really not selfish. In my opinion, we are making a very responsible decision to say, I don't want to bring a child into this world because I know I'm not ready to give up sleeping in. And we just know that it's going to be a whole different life. We're going to have a different schedule, and we're not ready to give it up. We are not ready to not be able to do whatever we want. And I think it's important to know you can still do these things when you have children. I know that. I'm aware of that. However, life gets a lot harder. You have to find a sitter. You have to plan for that. You have to pay for the sitter, potentially. Now, I'm very lucky that I have a family that I know would love to help me raise my children, help be the village that it is to raise a child. It's a whole different world. There are a lot of things you'd have to say no to. There are a lot of things you have to think twice about, because you have a baby, you have a child, you have an 8-year-old. And so it's really important for us to realize and make sure that we're ready to adjust our lives before we do that, before we give somebody else a life and we're responsible for somebody else. Another thing that crosses our mind all the time is it's extremely hard to be confident you're going to raise a child to be good. And by good, I mean that they're going to be kind, and they're going to stand up for people who need it, and they're going to live their best life. There are a lot of good people who come from bad places, but there are also a lot of bad people that come from good places. And that's such a scary thing to think about. Nobody has a child and thinks, my child is going to be a murderer one day. Pretty sure, as soon as they pop the baby out. I could have a child and they could be anything. They could do anything. And as much as you want to try and raise your children to be the best humans that they can be, it's very scary and it's very uncertain. How do you raise a child to be the best that they can be and not screw that up? Like, that's a lot of responsibility to take on and be like, I'm going to raise this child to be as good as I can. But if it turns out bad, I don't even know. I don't know how we could live with that. It's so scary. Not only that, but how do you raise a child without imposing your personal beliefs on them? Tyler and I have often said, and truly believe this, that every individual deserves to have their own mind and their own process. Tyler and I are very passionate about things. So how do we invoke passion on a child without telling them how they should think, how they should live, what they should do? Inevitably, we want to raise a child to be good, but, for example, religion has never been important to Tyler and I don't know if it ever will be, and that's okay. But if I have a child who feels strongly about religion and God, or what have you, I want to be supportive in that. But that's a really big struggle. How are you supportive with that while still being passionate about your own beliefs and not forcing a thought process on your child just because of the nurture that you have and the household you raise them in. So it's very hard to try and figure out how your parenting styles are going to be and what you're going to do and how you're going to raise them. You know, when they're 4 years old, do you take them to church to see how they like it? Are they just going to follow your cues? Is that fair? Life is full of uncertainties, and it's hard to figure out what the right thing is. People I know are going to bring up, well, have you talked about adoption? Of course we've talked about adoption. Tyler and I would love to give a family to a child who needs it, who's been brought into this world, because that takes away a lot of questions. That child's already in this world. So we need to make the best life for these children as we can that are already here. However, I also struggle with the fact that I want to carry my own child. I would love to be pregnant. So at this point, during the question, will Tyler and I have kids? I don't know. And that's okay. It's okay to not know. Will I know tomorrow? Probably not. Will I know in a week? Probably not. I don't know. And at the end of the day, that is my business and Tyler's business. And it's okay to not know. And it's a little scary to not know, if I'm honest with you, because some days I really, really want a baby, and other days I'm really glad that I don't have babies, and then other days I really don't want babies. My point is it's so uncertain. There's so many unknowns. We don't know the answers to them, and that's okay. And if you ever feel uncertain about what your future is, or what to tell people, or what to say, or how you're feeling, please, please, please reach out to me, reach out to a friend, a loved one. Talk to somebody about it, because keeping these feelings internalized is so scary to do alone. But also know that if somebody's pressuring you for an answer, it's okay to tell them you don't know. It's okay to tell them that it's not their business. It's okay to educate people. That's what we're here to do. We're not here to ostracize people and attack people. We're here to educate them, and educate them on infertility. Please look up statistics. I want to say it's 1 in 4 women are going to suffer a loss as far as pregnancy goes. So chances are yourself has gone through it, or somebody you know has gone through it. So please, please, please be cautious when even yourselves are asking people, when are you going to have babies? Do you have babies? Do you have plans to have babies? Do you want to have babies? And please know that if you've ever asked me this question, I love you. I'm not going to stop loving you because you've asked me if I'm going to have babies. But I hope that this video clears some things up and helps some people realize where I'm coming from if I don't have an answer for you, or if I don't want to tell you. And there are so many things in people's lives that are making a difference with their answers, that please know that if they're not sharing all the details with you, it doesn't mean they don't love you, and it doesn't mean that they don't want to share it with you. It's just such a personal thing. We don't owe answers to anybody. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions for me, please leave them down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, how you guys feel about this subject, what your own concerns are about having children. This is a really big subject for me, and I don't mind talking about it, but just please be cautious when you are asking people about their personal lives, because there can be a lot more behind that door than you think. So thanks so much for watching. Please like this video if you liked it, and please subscribe and follow me for some more. If you like videos like this, please let me know, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.